reaction from all of this to former New York Police Department officer Jose Cordero. Jose, what do you think of what he ironed out here?
Well, I think some of the measures announced make sense, at least from a law enforcement perspective. You know, officers really, are challenged when they're confronted with a mentally challenged person who has a gun, or a domestic violence situation that is typically highly charged, and you confront a person with a gun, or a person who's trying to commit suicide armed with a gun. So I think some of those are reasonable. Try to keep guns away from people like that. But the issue is that at the end of the day, that really affects a very small segment, as the president conceded, of gun violence in America. The bigger issue and the bigger violence comes from guns that are obtained illegally and are used in the streets in our cities across the country to create a very unsafe environment, killing a large number of people each and every year.
Do you think that at the margin, the president, of course, said if it just prevents one shooting or a large shooting, it will have done its job? There are many in these various lobbies and Republicans on the Hill who say, no, you are upending the Second Amendment itself. What do you think?
Well, I think we have to sort of balance our rights with public safety. Look, in light of recent acts, not only of criminal violence in our inner cities, but also threats from terrorism. You know, we have to take steps, and I think most Americans agree, that we have to look closely at, who's carrying guns and what we can do to prevent even one incident. But we have to balance that. I think, though, that the majority of Americans would favor actions that would prevent or at least address a more significant segment of gun violence, and that is guns that are acquired illegally.
Now, you always hear the counter-argument for this. I wish you had more time, officer, but I do want to get your perspective on this, is that if you take guns away or do something to make them harder to get, then people who really need and deserve them are going to be unarmed at the time of the next shooting tragedy. What do you say?
Well, and I think, that's correct. I mean, a lot of the restrictions in gun possession really come from state law. And different states with varying degrees of restrictions. Look, if a person is eligible to have a gun, then their Second Amendment rights should be protected. I don't think that disarming America is a way of moving forward in terms of increasing our safety of our families and of our country. I think we need to regulate, who got the hands who puts their hands on guns, particularly those who are mentally challenged, those who have criminal histories, those who are on terror, suspected terrorists, and the like.
Officer, thank you very much, and thank you for your service to try to cut down on this sort of very thing the president was talking about today. We are getting fast and furious.